Good day, everyone. Today, I will talk about the development and use of non-digital or conventional instructional material. So, these are the materials that teachers uses in class that are not digital or online. Even if we already have technology, these materials are still very useful in teaching. So, I will explain in these lessons their importance and examples. Our objectives are to describe the procedures in developing conventional instructional materials. We will also develop an instructional material based on a topic and strategy. Lastly, we will explain the factors to consider when revising media and delivery system. By the end of this presentation, we should understand how to properly create and use these materials. So, instructional material. So, what is instructional material? According to Efyong and Igeri, instructional materials are the print and non-print items used to give information to the students. This also helps the teachers to explain the lessons better. For example, are the textbooks, charts, posters, flashcards, and models. So, no, example scenario of this is in the science class, a teacher can use a model of solar system to explain the planets. Instructional materials have several roles in teaching and learning, which include the following. First, we have they promote meaningful communication and effective learning. So, this means that instructional materials help the students to understand the lesson better. When the teacher uses pictures, charts, magazines, models, and etc. is the lessons become more clear by using of this. So for example, a student using a map in his Araling Panlipunan subject. So now this helps the students understand the location so easily. Next, we have they ensure better retention, making learning more permanent. This means that the students remember the lessons longer, especially when they see and touch the materials, it stays on their mind. For example, using a flashcard. So no, this helps the students to remember the words easily. Next we have they help overcome the limited classroom by making the inaccessible accessible. So this means that the materials help them to show things that students cannot see in real life. For example, we cannot go to space, but we can use the charts, pictures, or models of a solar system to understand it better. Next, we have the fourth. They provide a common experience upon which late learning can be developed. So now, this means that the students share the same lesson experience that they can use for future lesson. For example, if everyone sees a plant experiment, so now they can relate it into the next discussion of the plant experiment. Next, we have they encourage participation, especially if students can manipulate material. So now, this means that the students become more active when they can use materials themselves. For example, in math, students can use counting blocks to solve addition problems or to solve subtraction problems. So in instructional materials, it can be also pre-existing materials or ones made by the teacher. So now, when developing materials, we need to consider the objective of the lesson. For example, if my objective is to teach addition, I can create a colorful chart showing sample problems. So the materials should match the goal of the lesson. So there are several factors to consider in developing instructional materials. So first we have develop a storyboard and working outline based on the subject goals and objectives. So no, first we need to make a storyboard or outline of our lessons. Next, identify existing institutional resources including materials and teachers' capability. So now we should check the available sources like materials and our teacher skills. Third, we have the teacher may research off-the-shelf materials that have been developed by others to determine if their approach could be useful. So now we can search ready-made materials for any ideas. Fourth, we have explored the possibility of adapting concepts of other teachers without infringing on anyone's protected design. So now we can adopt ideas from other teachers, but of course we need to respect the copyright. So fifth, we have modify existing materials based on the objectives of the lesson. So now we can modify materials based on our lesson objective. Six, we have the instructional materials are effective. You can share them with other teachers or your co-teachers. So you can all learn better. Lastly, we have the teacher developer can also sell her or his material available. So no, the teachers can sell the materials whenever they want to. So we have here a diorama. So what is a diorama? A diorama is a small scene that shows a concept or event. It can also show a historical event, nature scene, or story. For example, a student can create a diorama of a Mayon volcano for a geography lesson. So no, this helps the students to visualize and understand the topic better. So next we have a nature table. This table displays objects related to the nature, seasons, or festival. For example, during Nutrition Month, we can display fruits and vegetables. So in the science, we can display leaves, rocks, or shells to help the students observe the real objects. So I have here also the another example of a nature table. So no, during a Earth Day Earth Day celebration, so no, we can display a recycled materials like plastic bottles, paper, and cans to show how we can reuse them. We can also add small plants or pictures about protecting the environment. So that this could help the students to understand the importance of caring our nature, no? So by seeing these real objects, the students become more aware and be responsible about the environment. We also have here a writing board. So now we all know what is writing board is. It can be a chalkboard or a whiteboard. This is the teacher used to write notes, draw diagrams, or solve math problems. For example, diba, in math class, the teacher solve equations step by step on the board so that the students can follow the steps. So next we have here a flip chart. So no, it is a large pad of paper on a stand so that the teachers can write or draw on each page and flip it during the discussion. For example, during reporting, students can use a flip chart to present a group ideas. So we have here a zigzag board. So it is a multi-board series of 3 or 4 rectangular boards. So now look at the picture. It is a foldable board connected with hinges, and it is easy to carry and display. So now this will be used during a school exhibit so that the students can use it to show their research project or their uh, and some projects that it can be displayed. Next, we have here the wall display. So now, as you can see in the picture, it is a collection of many different types of items and materials that can be posted on the wall. So now it includes pictures, charts, and student works. For example, we can create a wall display of the students' essay during Buena Wika or other event in the schools. So we have here rope and pole display board. So now this board consists of 2 parallel horizontal poles tied loosely together with a rope. So now visual aids such as posters can be pinned to the wall. This kind of display board is invaluable where there are few solid walls for displaying information. So now, as you can see in the picture, this board uses ropes and poles where the poster can be attached. It is used it is very useful when there are no walls available in the schools. For example, during outdoor programs, this can be used to display information of the event. So we have here a guidelines when designing conventional instructional materials. So first we have unity. So no, this means that one idea per visual aid. It should have a clear headline, no? For example, if the topic is about the addition in math, so the visual aid should only focus on that topic. So we have here the second guideline, which is the simplicity. So no, this makes the ideas and relationship simple and easy to recall. Avoid cluttering a visual with too many words, numbers, or graphics. The audience should be able to grasp the concept in 10 to 15 seconds. So no, simplicity means that the design should not be too crowded. So we need to avoid many words or pictures or words or numbers. So no, for example, instead of writing a long paragraph, we should use a short bullet points. So third guideline, we have here the legibility. This means that the letters should be big and readable for all the audience. So no, especially the students at the back should clearly see it. For example, avoid very small handwriting on the posters so that all of your students can see it clearly. The fourth guidelines we have here the consistency, no? This means using the same style and format. So for example, if you use blue headings on one chart, use blue headings on the others too. Hindi pwede magkaiba para hindi masakit sa mata sa mga bata. So we have here the fifth guideline, which is the clarity. Now, this means that the text should be easy to read and avoid all capital letters because it is harder to read. And make sure everything is clear and understandable. So we have here the last guidelines, which is the quality. So no, quality means the material should look neat and organized. And we also need to always check for the spelling errors before presenting it to the class. So no, we really need to make sure that our poster is clean or our visual aid is clean and not messy. And that's all for my presentation. I hope you learned the importance of non-digital instructional materials and how to properly design them. Thank you for listening.